Please wait for 2 more minutes and we'll start, please. Let's start. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, parents.
So welcome from EuroKids family, and thanks for joining in for the webinar. I have along with me Selma, who is a Regional Academic Coordinator, and I'm Mayank Jain. I'm National Business Manager for EuroKids. So today we're going to be talking about briefly that what EuroKids and why early childhood education is important for a child, and what EuroKids and how EuroKids plays a pivotal role in this entire journey of a child, or can play a pivotal role in this entire journey of a child. And we're going to be more looking at what and how an early childhood of a child, early childhood development of a child will impact the life of the child in the long run and in the entire life and journey of the child. So without wasting too much time, let's start with the presentation. So just to give you a brief about EuroKids, we have been there for about 21 years, present in currently 3 countries, with about 1,200 plus preschools in 350 plus cities in across these 3 countries, and we have touched the lives of about 500,000 kids over the last 20 years of our existence. I would start with a small video. I want all of you to have a look at this video, and then we'll talk about more about the video and what is it trying to depict.
What is it that will make some of these babies thrive while others won't? What will make some of these toddlers go on to college and pursue rewarding careers or fulfill their professional aspirations, while others might have to settle for a lot less? Is it a matter of fate, money, intelligence? Is it luck, hard work, genetics? Is it a question of education? What happens in the first few years of life before formal schooling begins helps to lay the foundation for future success. What children experience even before they learn how to talk increases their chances of reaching their full potential and might be the key to creating better societies for everyone. And the secret lies in the most unsuspected place, our young brain.
If you're seeing, if you're hearing, if you're feeling, if you're deciding, if you're thinking, if you're reading, etc., this is your brain in action.
During our early years, the brain is optimized for learning and is capable of extraordinary change. No wonder a baby brain can create more than 1 million new neural connections every single second. They say practice makes perfect, and that is exactly what the brain does. Every time we learn or experience something new, it detects a change, and that change forms connections, which help build the foundation of a powerful brain. The connections that are not used repeatedly are lost. During the early years, when the brain is at its most active, is when the roadmap of our lives is first designed. Although change is possible as children grow, science is proving that getting it right from the beginning is the best opportunity we have to increase our chances of happiness and success.
Children are natural learning machines. They are born ready to learn. They already have learned some things, even in utero.
The first 3 years of life, I think, are the magical years for intervention, because the changes that we facilitate then can last for the rest of the child's life and of the parent's life, and create a new way of relating.
A really good, solid early childhood education foundation are more likely to continue their education when they leave high school. They're more likely to go to college. They are 4 times more likely to graduate from college. They are more likely to get highly skilled jobs that pay more. They are actually healthier as adults.
Because none of us can remember our lives before we were 2 or 3 or 4, depending on when your first memory is, it's easy to think that there's nothing happening in there. The idea that we would think about learning as something that doesn't happen until you're 5 or 6 just doesn't make sense scientifically.
And so kindergarten prep begins in the crib, begins at birth, begins with the parents' knowledge of what their contribution is going to be to the baby's brain development. Because a brain has to be built. It comes ready to learn, but it's not built yet.
While some of these children may thrive and others might not, we now know that the experiences they are exposed to and the skills they acquire early on truly matter for the brain's development. The early years are an unrepeatable opportunity to improve their chances of happiness and success, and the best way to help them fulfill their dreams, whatever they may be.
So actually, if you look at the video, it actually says a couple of things more important than says a lot of things actually. But predominantly what it says is that our ability to learn starts, one of the most important things if you realize is saying that our brain comes ready, but is not built. So it's ready for learning, but the fact is that it's not yet built for it. And when you learn in a systematic and a structured approach, is when you actually tend to garner more out of it. In that journey, what you develop is your ability to have better language skills, social skills, behavioral things that you learn over the journey. Another important thing is that the child during the early years, if they are exposed to a structured way of learning and education and overall development, then their ability to succeed in life is far higher. And it's not what I say or what EuroKids is saying. There's a project called Abyssinian Project. You can Google around and find it out about it. It's one of the longest study which has happened in the course of history on early childhood education, which lasted for, if I'm not wrong, 21 or 23 years, where they picked up kids, normal kids, and a set of kids got great education, early childhood education, and as I said, didn't get that level of education. And then they realized the ones who got the right early childhood education were the ones who actually succeeded better in life. You can Google around, as I mentioned earlier also. So that's what makes us believe that early childhood education holds a important pivotal role in the child's overall development and in the journey to become successful in lives. Next. So in EuroKids, we do believe that having the right early childhood education is very critical. Along in the journey, we also one of the most important things that we realized, and we always believed in it. But in the arena or the place that we are in, where safety actually has taken a center stage along with the overall developmental milestones. So we at EuroKids, what we have done is we have a 6-point safety checklist, which is all the schools are have CCTV footage. All we follow all the government guidelines. We have our internal 36-point safety checklist, which every school has to follow, and staff is verified. Every staff we also prepare them in case of an emergency. What are the SOPs that we need to be followed, and ensure that a child is in the right environment for their own development. Health and safety lies to be a very important factor for us, and we are committed to that in a continued manner. Um, for the next slide, I would request my colleague Selma to please take you through the entire curriculum, that how we have structured the entire curriculum for the child, so that the child's learnings are met and they grow in the manner which is desirable in the world we live in. Selma, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayank. A very good evening once again, parents. And yes, as we have just seen how early years education is important to a child so that we can ensure a successful life ahead. So here at EuroKids, we have our Eunoia curriculum, which is the mindful curriculum that we follow at all our preschools. Now, I'm sure many of you wouldn't know the meaning of the word eunoia. Well, in fact, it is an ancient Greek word which means well mind or beautiful thinking. Now, at EuroKids, we have the holistic approach where we are catering to the mind, body, and soul development. So, when we talk about eunoia, we are looking at a well mind, a fit body, and a beautiful soul. So let us look at each of these domains a little more in detail in the next slide. So here we have under mind, that is our cognitive domain, which deals with the development of mental capabilities and acquisition of knowledge. We have our 3 programs, that's Euphonics, which is our language program. Then we have mathematics, MATLAB, and we have scientific spark. Coming to the next domain, that is body or the psychomotor domain, which deals with the physical aspect of the child, the development of gross motor skills, fine motor skills, mind to muscle connection, speed, dexterity. Here we have our 2 programs of EuroFit and EuroKids. And coming to the last domain, that is the soul or the affective domain, which deals with feelings and emotions, we have 2 programs, that is Mindful Plus and Euro Music. So now I'll take you through each of these and give you a little insight about each of these programs that we have. So Euphonics is a phonics-based program which has been designed and developed by our curriculum team at EuroKids. Here, a child starts learning the sounds of each letter, and it is done in a very child-friendly manner through songs, through rhymes, through actions and stories. So a child develops a very strong phonic alphabet base, which enables them then to be able to read a lot more fluently, because a child can now decode the words as per their sounds rather than trying to read out the whole word, which is very difficult for a child if they do not know the sounds of each letter. The next program that we have is our mathematics program, Now here, as the name suggests, Math Lab. A lab is a place where you are free to explore and experiment. Mathematics, I'm sure parents, a lot of us had a dread during our childhood days because it was a subject that either we loved it or we hated it. And that was only because of the way it was taught to us. I'm sure most of us here followed the traditional method of learning where it was by and large by rote. And we do not want our children to go through that same rote learning cycle. So here, through a lot of hands-on activities that we have, the use of manipulatives, our children learn math concepts in a more concrete manner. And so there is understanding of the concept, and thereby there's always greater retention. So child learns and understands what they are learning. So that is our math lab for you. Our next program is Scientific Spark. Now here we are aiming at making our children think like scientists. And the prerequisite to that is having an open mind, being open to the world around and understanding how the world works. Here, our children are developing the skills of observation, skills of investigation, prediction, and reasoning. So children are again have a lot of hands-on activities. We do not just give them answers, but rather we allow children to explore and ask questions and find out answers for themselves. Coming to our next domain, EuroFit. Now, it is really important, especially in today's world where children have not have enough physical exposure because of the lifestyle we live in. It is important that our children have an understanding of physical fitness and the importance of healthy living. So we have tied up with Health Set Go, where Ms. Priya Prakash, the CEO, is our knowledge partner, and along with her team of international experts, she has curated this program for us, whereby our children, through a weekly session of EuroFit, are able to develop the fine motor skills along with their gross motor skills and have a love for fitness. Our next program, EuroKids, has been again specially developed by our knowledge partner, Ms. Shraddha Setalvad, who through her songs and rhymes and stories, she has been able to bring yoga down to the level of children. And I think ours is the first preschool to have introduced yoga for children. So through yoga, children are developing a positive self-image, increasing their confidence, and of course, building up on their concentration levels as well. Looking at our last domain, here we have Euro Music along with Sing Play Love, which has been where we have tied up with Miss Ann Meeker from the US. We are, through music and song, we are imparting life skills to our children. So through music, children are having fun and at the same time developing important life skills, important skills like language and literacy, social, emotional development, and getting ready for the mainstream school. Our next program is Mindful Plus. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of what mindfulness is all about. In very simple terms, I would say mindfulness is being present in the present moment. And through mindfulness, children are able to focus on the present rather than look back at the past or be anxious about the future. So through our weekly sessions that we have, children are able to develop self-regulation, manage their emotions, and also it helps in improving their concentration. Now, mindfulness is something that the children will develop over a period of time. And as they practice this right through their growing years, it will have far long-reaching benefits into their future as well, where they would grow up into well-balanced individuals with better problem-solving abilities, and they would be able to develop better interpersonal relationships as well because of being able to stay calm in all situations. Now, let us look at what a day at EuroKids looks like. So as you can see here on the slide before you, right from the time the children come in, we have a welcome time, and then the children spend the first session is where they would spend time in the learning corners, interacting with their friends, then moving on to the attendance time, which again is a very interesting time at EuroKids. It is not the same like what you and I had when we were in school. Every attendance session is a different session, which is more of an interaction between the teacher and the children. We then have scientific thinking, maths, language literacy, music and movement, mindfulness, peer interaction, Eurofit, Euromusic. So the whole day, parents, is packed with a lot of activities, which are a good blend, I would say, between active learning as well as passive learning. Also, it has been structured in such a way so as to ensure that the child enjoys their day at EuroKids, where there are child-led activities as well as teacher-directed activities. And we have a snack break in between where the children all sit together and eat their snack, which again helps them in becoming more independent when it comes to managing themselves. So what we have for our preschool, as you can see in the next slide, for playgroup and nursery, we have a duration of 3 hours. As I just mentioned, the various activities that we would have for them. So it is important that our children have a structure, a routine for each day that gives them a sense of security because they know what is going to come next. Rather than just having haphazard activities being conducted, here the children know exactly what is going to be done after a certain activity. Now, for our junior and senior, that's our kindergartners, we have the session for 4 hours, where the only addition to the whole schedule is our time for Hindi that we have, and of course, our reading and writing time for our kindergartners. Now, besides the programs that I just spoke to you about, we also have a few more interesting activities for our children. We have time for reading, which is based on the Maria Montessori method, where children are encouraged to develop the habit of reading. Now, all of us know reading is so important, and by the time a child goes to main school, they should be able to read. But in today's day and age, when children would prefer watching a visual on a screen where there is so much of action and movement, it becomes difficult to sometimes interest a child in a book. So through our Time for Reading program, we are encouraging our children to develop the habit of reading. Then we have our peer interaction sessions. Now, again, it is very important for children to have the opportunity of interacting with children of their own age. And we have seen parents over the last 2 years during the lockdown, children missed out tremendously on this. Unfortunately, they now are unable to interact, and it becomes difficult when a child has never had the exposure of being in the company of other children. So here we have a good 20-minute session where children are given that opportunity to interact with each other, where they learn the communication, they start developing their communication skills, they develop the skill to collaborate with each other, to work together and learn together. Now, the global goals for early years, the Sustainable Development Goals were introduced by the United Nations, and we are, I think, the only preschool in India that has adopted these global goals for early years. And we have incorporated these into our curriculum. Now, our children are going to grow up to be global citizens, and it's important for them to understand their responsibility towards the planet. So through this global goals incorporation into our curriculum, we are giving our children that sense of understanding who they are with regards to the planet. And be safe, as Mayank has already mentioned, safety is our priority at EuroKids. We have a monthly session for our children on various aspects of safety, be it safety at home, safety on the roads, safety with regards to strangers. So all of this is covered in our Be Safe program. Now, this is what we have for each of our learners, our little ones at EuroKids. So we have what is called the happiness in a box, where each child would receive a welcome kit, which contains a whole lot of engaging tools that the child would use during the course of the year. We have a readiness kit, which helps the child at home to help in developing their fine motor skills, their eye-hand coordination, and of course, helping in developing their creativity. Then we have our takeaways at school, which are creative activities that the child would be doing at school with the help of the teacher based on the concepts that they are learning at school. We have the theme kits. This theme kit would come to you at the end of each theme. So during the course of the year, we have 4 themes. At the end of the theme, you would receive a theme kit, which is an activity for you as a parent to work with your child at home, which would give you a good understanding about what your child is doing at school. And it would be a recapitulation as well for your child. Now, the takeaway at home is based on the takeaway at school. Here again, this is something that you and your child can work on together. It's a creative activity, again, based on the theme that is being done at school. Now, these are some of the welcome kit essentials that I mentioned. So you have your books. Everything is color-coded. So the yellow books that you can see here would be for our playgroup children. Then you would receive your achievement cards at the end of each theme. You have your medals and certificates. We have the honor badges, which are actually appreciation tokens, which help develop positive traits in our children. So every year, the child would be receiving 8 different honor badges based on the positive traits that your child would be displaying at school. Then we have for our playgroup and nursery children, we have a set of 3 t-shirts that they would be using during the course of the week. We have the school bags, which are again color-coded. We have the portfolios, which are a collection of the child's creative work at school. And we have the vocabulary kit. Now, this is the word of the week that would come to you once a week. So every week, our children would be introduced to a new word. Again, this is our way of helping our children enrich their English vocabulary. I will now hand it over to Mayank to take over.
Thank you, Selma. So parents, couple of things. If just to summarize what Selma, one, it's a very structured and a holistic curriculum, and that we have. And as a part of the curriculum, the multidimensional abilities of the child that get developed during the course of the year. So what we have in EuroKids is something wherein we say that every child is unique, is what we always believed in. And we also, as a process in this journey, also have convenience of multiple shifts being provided to all our parents. We realize that not every child gets up early in the morning, and that's the reason, one of the reasons that you look up for a preschool for convenience of saying that the child actually has a transition to the mainline school as and when it's required to go to. One is that. Second is also we realize as the world is shrinking to a more global place. This is a classical incident which happened with our parents who said that I met a mother and owns the incident and sharing with you all that I go to work in the afternoons and I have a UK shift, sorry. I have a UK shift and I come back by late evenings. And by the time I'm back home, the kid is off to sleep. In the morning, it's a rush for because I slightly try getting up a bit late because I come fairly late in the night, and the kid is already ready to leave. I just kind of see the kid for some time and see off the kid to the school. I don't get to spend time with the kid was the most important thing. Was the mother was mentioning to us, and we said that you can have a late morning batch which starts at around 11:30. She was delighted actually. She had the joy of life, saying that I get to spend the entire first half of my day with my kid, as and I can see her grow up. So so these are situations that made us believe that we need to give convenience to the parents and the way the world is evolving. People have late night working. People have kids are late risers. All of this is practically possible. Most of our schools, most of the schools, if not all, do provide us with the option of a morning batch and a late morning batch. Next. So these are some of the. It will vary from school to school, but broadly, this is what the shift time would look like. For playgroup and nursery, it will be 8:30 to 11:30 or 8 to 11, depending from city to city. As I mentioned again, that will vary slightly from city to city and school to school. 12 to 3 and then 3:30 to 6:30, we're exploring a third shift with a select few center of partners. Uh, and then we have junior and senior 8 to 12 batch and the 12:30 to a 4:30 batch. So these are the options that we have provided in terms of uh, the shifts, which are convenience that we're providing to the child as well as the parents. Next. So one of the questions which over the years, and we've been doing this webinar from 2 years, 3 years now, and what we realized is the parents have a question that why should we have our kids come to EuroKids? Why not a mainline school? A K-12 school gives us continuity and it's uninterrupted learning up to class 10th or 12th, whatever it is. So we put together something which we believed is very important for the child. And one of the important things that next, one of the important things that we realized is uninterrupted and attention that the child seeks at the early years is very much provided in a preschool, unlike a K-12 school or a mainline school. So, the teacher-child ratio is maintained at 1:10. So every 10 kids, we've got one teacher, and if you have got 20 kids or six, then we have a teacher and a support teacher, two teachers there with you. Also, we do have interactions with the kids in small peer groups, which is of 5 each or 4 each, and we create those small batches, sets of kids, so that they're able to interact. One of the most and the learning out of this is, if you could see, in the pandemic, the kids were not coming to the schools, the peer interaction was very limited, and the realization was that many of the kids, as we see in the current year, have constraints or challenges with regards to vocabulary. The vocabulary development is slower because their interactions have been very limited. Also, they're hesitant to speak because uh, they have not had exposure. It was only a limited set of people that they had exposure to. So that's one. Yeah, continue. So the kind of setup that we have, it's not table chairs for especially kindergartens, and it will be more like we have mats and the kids sit on the floor. They express themselves. In the school becomes a very structured environment, whereas EuroKids, the child is allowed to express themselves. Everything is customized according to the child, because even the play areas, the slides, the cars, all of them are for kids, because the ecosystem is just meant for only kids. Whereas in the mainline school, it's the entire ecosystem comes for different grades in different manner and doesn't come together as in a holistic manner. Next. Next. Already talked about this holistic development of students, socio-economical life skills, mindful learning beyond physical development is what our preschool, like as Selma mentioned to you earlier, that we do provide yoga, mindfulness. Classical case of a very simple thing that today, if you were to look at simple of the things that if you have to write something, The most important thing is not writing, actually. It's the most important thing is thinking what to write. And we are trying to develop that ability of a child of saying, what exactly do you need to write? So to summarize it, what you're saying that we have child-friendly ambience, exploration and engagement beyond learning, qualified and trained teachers, what you have in staff. We do about 40 hours of training over the course of the year for every staff that is there at the school, especially teachers. Safety protocol as being a 360-degree safety that we maintain, a child to teacher ratio, and a child can get transferred from any EuroKids across any other EuroKids across the country. Yeah. Yes. So another piece of which is what I've spent some time about is during the course of 2 years of pandemic, what taught us is the way digital developed has become an integral part of our lives. And digital was developing, but in the last 2 years, I think all of us do agree that without life without digital uh, is unthinkable for most of us. I'll put it this way that earlier the way we used to learn was or where let's look at very simplest of the things. The way we used to watch television was predominantly networks of channels that we used to watch. To now, most of our time we spend on smart TVs watching Netflix and Amazons of the world, and that's just the simplest of the things. Uh, YouTube's kids who used to be who used to see earlier Cartoon Networks have now started gluing on to YouTube's your Peppa Pigs and other cartoons that they see. But what we realized in this entire journey was that children were not having a curated content which is child appropriate and helps them in their constructive engagement skills and building what they're learning on. So what we've come up is an app. It's called it Home Buddy. We'll just take you a small video and explain you a bit more in detail. So, if you have seen, what we're covering in the Home Buddy is, as I mentioned earlier, is a curated content specifically for the child age appropriate. So, what's there for a playgroup child is different from what a nursery child will get to see. So, it's curated to the for ages age appropriately. There are multiple things. It also has a DIY where parents and child can put in together things. Child can see some various content in terms of rhymes, and also as a parent you would come to know yeah, one of the things that a parent gave a feedback to us some time back, saying whenever my child comes back home, I will ask him how was it, and he'll say okay. Did you learn? Yes. Everything is yes. And you had, as a parent, I really have no idea what was he doing in the school. But here we have an app. You can log into the app and give it to the child to learn, obviously. But more importantly, you can also see what does the child learn today, what has the teacher taught today. Your attendance markings and all of that is being available in the app for you to track your child's developmental milestones are met. what is the if the so we are enhancing the app is the journey that we are on, and it will we'll take your feedbacks, we'll take all the whatever you have suggestions, and we'll try incorporating as much as possible, make it more comprehensive. But right now it has your worksheets, it has learning platforms, as I mentioned earlier, do it yourself activities, it has recorded lessons in case the child is on leave for a specific day, it has storybooks, it has books which the child can read on their own, or the text to speech is there, so the book will read it for the child, so child can learn vocab and improve on vocab and much more, which will come next. So this is a program-based breakup. So we have 4 programs: playgroup, nursery, junior, and senior. For playgroup, it is about 1.8 years to 3 years. And for nursery, it is 2.5 years to 4 years. For junior, it is 3.5 to 5 years. And with Euro Senior, it is 4.5 to 6 years. This is based on each state has their own regulation, and basis that regulation is how the program-based breakup is being designed, and that is specific to that particular state's rules and regulations. Next. If you can join the join the schools right away, and if you want, what we have right now is a 15-month integrated program, which is broken down in this pattern of 2 weeks of settling period for the kids, because if the kids is coming to the school for the first time, and then we have 12 weeks of special curriculum, which is actually a abridged version of the entire curriculum compressed into 12 weeks, and then 36 weeks of a normal curriculum, which is either 3-hour or 4-hour program. And I'll be open in sharing this with you that in this journey of a child with the integrated program, you will also have to step in to ensure to make a success out of it. Our teachers would work towards it, so would you have to work along with the teachers and the child to make a success out of this entire integrated program. So a couple of things. You can start with an admission form. You can visit the nearest school. You can get the admission form. You can do your documentation submissions, and you'll be handed over. You have to pay the fees, and you'll be handed over a kit. And then, as per the session start date, which is either April or June, is when you can start the entire journey. In case you have more details which you require, if you want to have visit the nearest EuroKids school, we do provide, many of our schools are providing a weekend sessions of open houses on Saturdays. Just check with the nearest school, and for playgroup and nursery, it is closer to is about 1 hour 45 minutes, and for junior it's about 2 hours, wherein you will also get a first-hand experiences how the child will be taught. So it's taking you through the journey of the child's learning, which will help you understand better of how the child will be learning over the course of the next year. So we're now open to questions. Please feel free. I already see 2 questions. There's a first question is, when will the 23-24 admission season start? So admission season for 23-24 have already started. For most of our schools, and just before I move to the Q&A, you can actually get a copy of this entire webinar on our YouTube channel, which is EuroKids International Preschool. And if you want, and I would request you all if you can follow us on our Instagram channel, because we do keep doing a lot of parent interaction sessions, as experts who come up and provide interactive details to the parents on early childhood development, which is all again EuroKids India, EuroKids International _official. So I would request you all to please like and our page, and you can see this on our Instagram and YouTube page. Yeah. So coming back is yeah, I answered that that the admission season has already started for the current year. Any more questions? Please feel free.
Okay, there is one question here. What would be the right age for joining nursery? So, parents, we start taking in children from 1.8, that is for our playgroup program. So, 1.8 to 2.5 is for playgroup, and for nursery, it would be 2.6 to 3.5. However, it would vary slightly from state to state. So, since you haven't mentioned which state you are from, maybe you can just check at your nearest EuroKids preschool.
So there's a specific question, which is when is the Behramgura branch be operational? I'll have to check. I really have. I'll have to come back to you. I'll make a note of it. And Chandan. So, Chandan, if you can actually ping me on a private message, your phone number, I'll ask somebody to get in touch with you. The 15-month program and the integrated program fees is designed in a manner wherein it's a 12-month fees of the next year, and the 3 months tuition fees is what we charge in the current year. So it's not all India, all schools have the same fee structure. So it depends on the location where you are present, and we will ensure that you can visit the nearest center to know about this particular 15-month program. I can't know the name of yours. How EuroKids would address, Gargi Datta is asking how EuroKids would address any medical emergency. So what we have done is, not at a central level, but at school level, we ask our partners to have a tie-up with a local doctor on call, as well as with a hospital which is nearest to the school. So in case of a medical emergency, the first thing that the school has to do is reach out to the doctor on call or the hospital, and then inform the parents parallelly. So that there's a proper SOP which is being written for this, and we do train our schools on this particular aspect of it.
Okay, our next question from Sagar Chavan is, when will school start, April or June? So, Sagar, it depends which state you are in. We have schools in north and some and east, as well as some parts of the west region, which start the academic year in the month of April. Whereas for Maharashtra and the entire south region, we start in the month of June. So, depends on which state you are in. If you could just clarify that, then we would be able to help you out better.
Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Okay. No, I just, my connection just got lost for a couple of seconds.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's why I just wanted to check. Still shuffling. I don't know. Still showing processing. Just sorry. I'm really sorry about this, but sometimes tech is beyond.
Okay, Hira Gosalia is asking how much the fees for playgroup, are you providing transportation? So Hira has already mentioned the fee structure varies from center to center depending on the region. And transportation, again, that is depends, it's a center level decision whether the school will be providing transport or not. So you would have to find out at your nearest preschool.
How much the fees to play for playgroup are you providing transport? I think you answered that. This is an anonymous attendee. I would always request you to please identify yourself that what is taught in nursery, do they teach writing part as well? I would like to take this as a point in question of saying that, as I mentioned earlier also, that if somebody asks me to write a piece of paper, a one full page, I think the toughest thing for me to write is on the content, on not the writing part. I believe that over a period of time, we do realize that thinking of what to write is more important than writing. So nursery would have some preliminary level of writing, but if you're saying that extensive writing, we don't do it because the fact is that the kids' bones are not developed to be able to what is called a pencil grip. If you hold a pencil like this, you actually have, or holding a grip like this, that's not developed. So if you make child write too much, the fingers gets D-shaped. And that's another reason we don't want kids to write too much. We want kids to have more of analytical thinking, more of ability to comprehend, ability to assimilate thoughts. That we believe is far more important in the world where we are progressing to, not the world where we are. And actually, the world where we are as individuals is also moving to that. I'll give you a classical example that if I have to ask all of you that when was the last time you actually wrote a one full page, I don't know. I would struggle with it. I've asked this question to a lot of people. They have all struggled. We type something, or what more important that we do is we'll talk about it. Let's say even I think most of us use WhatsApps. We used to type on WhatsApp. Now we just record a message and put it on WhatsApp. But what is important in that journey is our ability to assimilate thoughts, our ability to know what to speak. And in the same way, what to write is more important than writing, actually. We'll teach writing. I'm not saying no, but the fact is that it has to be child and age appropriate. If the child is 2.5 years, but the parents are asking for nursery, we can proceed. Yeah, it depends on the state which you are in, because a lot of states have those local regulations wherein they say that the child has to be in should be 6 years completed for them to go on to grade 1. So if the parent is insisting, tell them that tomorrow it's going to be a situation wherein they'll not be able to take admission and they'll have to repeat the kid. As well have the kid go through the entire session rather than rushing it. That's my suggestion and take on it.
Okay, Usha Rani has a question. Can you please guide us for open house activity? So a lot of parents wonder what exactly they do at our preschool. So this is an opportunity for you parents to come in with your child on a Saturday and actually experience a day at EuroKids for yourself with your little one. So on a Saturday, we would be having these sessions at our schools where you can come in with your child, do a few activities, see how your child, the whole environment at the school, the equipment that we use, the toys that we have, and see how your child learns at EuroKids. So that is what you can come in and do. This is open on Saturdays for all programs.
There's a question which is very interesting. How do you develop the skill of what to write? I think Selma, let's try and answering this together probably. So one of the things I'll tell you, how do you develop on one, as Selma mentioned before, we teach the kids mindful curriculum. In the mindful curriculum, it's about being present in the state which is fluid. And think and imagination. We're trying to develop an imagination child. That's one of the key factors in mindful plus or mindful thinking that we're trying to bring with the kids. In addition to that, we have a pedagogy which believes in LSRW. You can Google around what I'm speaking, but you can Google around. Yeah, Selma. Want to add something?
Yeah. So what I would like to say here, parents, is at EuroKids, we do not encourage any kind of rote learning. So we allow the children to think for themselves. It's not that we would show them an image of something and just tell them what it is. We would ask the child questions and elicit answers from the child. So the child has to think. The child is given that opportunity. The whole environment is set that the child is able to start thinking, asking questions. So that is where the development comes in. So if you have to ask the child to write something, the child has to first be able to think about what they should write. We will not just give them, all the answers straight off. That is what we are developing in our children. See, the basic learning ABC and learning 1 to 10 can be learned at any school. But it is the other skills which are important, the skills of being able to think for themselves, being able to have their own expressions, their own thoughts, is what is important.
So, Silva, there's another question. How do you train your teachers, if you can help answer this?
Yes. So our teachers we by and large taken teachers who are qualified teachers, qualified for early years teaching, and we give them in-house training with regards to classroom management, the curriculum, because our curriculum is so different, and it looks at the, as we mentioned earlier, the holistic development of the child. It is not just the academic part that we are focusing on. So we train our teachers accordingly so that they can conduct the sessions with the children at school, be it the EuroFit, the Yoga Kids, the Mindful Plus sessions, all of that. We provide the training for our teachers.
So, there's an interesting question. My son does not speak properly. He is 2.3 years old. Can I join my son to nursery? I can do a lot of such things. And I would say you don't need to. You have apprehension to this initially, probably for a day or two or week. Probably you can, but we would not allow for beyond or something, because it's about privacy. It's about other child. It's about objections from other parents. So so that's something you can see the child from a CCTV in the school. But the child is not speaking, I'll give you a couple of things you can try at home. Start reading books for the kid, and when you're reading the book to the kid, read very, very slowly. Like, the child will pick up things with lip movements. It will help them to relate. Now, the fact is that child doesn't have that vocabulary. How will he pick up? The fact is that use the vocabulary which you generally use at home. Even while speaking to the child at home, speak very softly, very, very slowly, so the child is able to pick up the normal lip movement of every day. And then they'll start picking up because they're also listening the word from in their ears. This is slow, gradual process. We've seen this quite commonly post the pandemic. And I don't think I understand the anxiety which you would be going through, but I would also suggest you that give it some time. With the child interacting with other kids, this will normalize very soon. Selma, anything else you'd like to add to this?
So as I would just like to mention earlier, Mayank did mention LSRW, that's first comes the skill of listening. So if a child, and we do understand over the last 2 years, things have been difficult where children have not got that kind of exposure and interaction with others. So when a child first listens to others speaking, be it the parents, grandparents, caregivers, or the teachers, it's only when the child listens, then the child would be able to speak. So your child just needs time where they have enough people around them to speak to them so that then they will develop their vocabulary. So as Mayank mentioned, yes, please read storybooks to your child, spend some time with your child. And if your child joins school, earlier the better, where the child will interact with others, and definitely your child should be able to start speaking soon.
There's a question on summer vacation period in Calcutta. I am extremely sorry, but if I have your details, I'll ask somebody to get in touch with you and share with you these details of summer vacation in Calcutta. But specifically, if you ask me, Selma, would you have it handy?
No, but by and large, the month of May would be the summer vacation. Exact dates we wouldn't be able to provide to you, unfortunately.
So this is one question. Which education program is more beneficial, Montessori or traditional learning? Now, I would try answering this question. It's very, very person centric. It's based on what you think is right for your child. But I would still put it this way that my understanding of traditional learning is when I grew up is it's been a long time, but so is on the fact that the teacher used to write on the blackboard and used to hear it or write it, and it ended there. And but in here, what Montessori or the new age learning, I'll put it, because Montessori is only one way of learning. This is again quite, it has also gone through quite a bit of transformation. Montessori was something in the 90s more relevant, but I think the world has evolved from there to today where it is. But I'll put it this way, the traditional way of learning and the new age of learning. In the new age of learning, the way things are is more to do with the fact that it's more aligned to the fact of the way the world is evolving. I'll give you a perspective to make you understand what we have done in EuroKids. We've been in existence for 21 years. And in 21 years of journey, this is our 7th curriculum, which is currently running. We're already working towards our 8th curriculum, which will come through. We try bringing in a new curriculum every 3 to 4 years, and we revamp it. And I'm saying, and why is it important? It's important because of the only reason being that the world is changing at a pace which is very, very brisk. If you are teaching something to a child in the manner which you're teaching to the child becomes irrelevant for the child, then the entire ethos is lost. And we want to be relevant in the world we are living in. Like I told you very simply that probably when I grew up or 30 years back, or let's put it this way, 25, 30 years back, writing was the most important thing that you had to ever do in life. But if you ask today somebody, that it's not the case. I have my cousins who used to be writing a lot of things on for medical exams. What I'm seeing now, the latest medical exams are happening on pads. Why? Because the fact is that the world is evolved. Today, we used to write, entrance exams used to be written. Then it came objectives. Then it became, multiple choice questions. It's still multiple choice questions today, yes, but it's digital today. Yeah, we need to be aligned to the way the world is. If we were still stuck to the world which was saying that it has to have to write an entrance exam in long sheets, and we groom the child with that orientation, because many of you have asked related questions, then I think we are defining the purpose and we're not preparing the child to be ready for the world the child is going to grow up. Mr. Suresh, I hope I have tried to answer your question. Mr. Suresh Kumar is asking name of the syllabus EuroKids is using. We don't have a CBSE or ICSE. What we follow is NCF, that is National Curriculum Framework. That framework provides you guidelines, and basis that guidelines is what you design the entire curriculum. Yeah, there's Bhavna Kanbar, ma'am. We do organize summer camps. The summer camps will start during the summer break, and the summer camp is available for a 21-day period. So we do have a 21-day summer camp. Every school broadly does. Any more questions, please? Wait for a minute or two. How different is EuroKids from Kidsy? I would suggest you experience it. I'll actually say it this way only. It's a difference of pedagogy in the way the entire curriculum is. And then every center has a different look and feel. That is less to do with the fact, but more to do with the fact that the curriculum is quite different for the two.
What are the subjects taught in senior KG? Do you have live feed? So we have taken you through all the programs that we have for our preschoolers as well as kindergartners. We have our language and literacy, we have mathematics, we have scientific thinking. With regards to the physical aspect, we have your EuroFit and Yoga Kids. We do Mindful Plus sessions, we do Euro music, and we also have our peer interaction sessions. We have Hindi for our junior and senior children. And also we do writing with the children. So that is all that is covered in our kindergarten.
Now the boy is 2.5 years old. He is not speaking. Still, can expect him speaking spontaneously after joining him. See, it's not going to happen instantaneously. Your expectation of saying that the moment the child comes to the school or preschool, they'll immediately start speaking. It's an effort which all of us will make towards the child. We believe in child, for everything is for the child, and the entire ecosystem revolves around the child. But we can't do it without you. We'll tell you how, we'll help you. We'll tell you, we can have sessions with telling you what are things that you need to do, but we'll have to do it together. Because in about 4 hours that the child will spend in the school, the child spend 20 hours with you. So it's together that we'll be able to build this. But I fundamentally believe unless and until there is a you can also see a speech therapist, and I would recommend that you also get it done through a doctor. But we have seen a lot more cases in the post-pandemic era of kids having these challenges, and we feel really sorry for the kid, and I actually feel very, very bad for the child, and because it's what we've seen primarily, the reason being is that if I want to express something, like I'm speaking to you, I need vocabulary to speak. If I don't know what to speak, then what the child is doing today in the school is either they're yelling, or they're getting cranky, or they're becoming hyperactive, and the last, the scariest of the lot is they become very quiet. So I would suggest you can see a speech therapist, and it's a journey. The child will not start speaking instantaneously or something. We don't provide live feed of learning of the classrooms. But you can, if you want to have a look at it, it's available in the schools for you to look at it when the child is learning, if you want to visit there. But we don't provide live feed of the school. And clay, what you're comparing it with, clay is predominantly for daycare. It's not for preschools. Any other question? Is there any school in Himachal? The answer is yes. We have schools in Himachal.
Do we have a school in Medchal, Hyderabad?
Let me come back to you. I don't have your number, sir, but ma'am. But let me come back to you. I think There's a school coming up in Mitchell in the coming year, is what I know. So
What you
that
can do is, maybe we
for
can
a
visit
school, just
the
a second.
website.
For a school in Himachal, yes, we have a school in Himachal. I would suggest you go to EuroKidsIndia.com and you can find out the school which is nearest. Yeah, you're saying something, Selma. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, exactly the same thing. They can just get onto the website and check for the nearest preschool.
Do we enroll a special child? It's you'll have to get a doctor's report, and we will take a call basis that. As of ad hoc, I can't say yes or no anything to you. Any more questions, please?
I think we're done with all the questions.
Wait, let's wait for a minute or more in case resolve or come up with any more questions.
And parents, in case any of you joined us a little late, you can always get onto our YouTube channel, EuroKids International Preschool, and you can revisit the video there of this webinar.
Sure. I don't think any more questions are there. So thanks a lot, parents, for coming in for the webinar. And it's been our pleasure to host you and look forward to seeing you in the schools. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, parents.